today, or tonight actually. How's everyone's week been? Actually, as we're waiting for them to get caught up, how was your guys' week?
Pretty freaking busy.
Same with me too. Like, yeah, just like this is the crazy time for me at work, and it's kind of the crazy time for me right now in video games. So I'll touch on it a little bit more during the podcast. But right now, I'm running about 4 games at once, which is a lot for me.
Yeah, I work in retail, so this is the crazy time. Starting next week, I'll be out of work at 9 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock. So I'll be making sure I get everything done the night before the podcast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm right now. It's just because I do a lot of sales stuff, but what I work for basically shuts down over the Christmas holidays. So it's a big rush right now to get everything in, at the end of the year. So it's really crazy. Plus, I've been coming home and hitting the video games, and my wife's been really, really great about it. So
that's always good. Spouses who are like, yeah, go ahead and game.
Plus, it lets her watch.
I approve of her. I know I haven't known that long, but I'll give you the approval.
Well, it's self-serving too because she likes to watch Investigative Discovery, so she gets to watch that all night. And so maybe she could be planning, something nefarious, but I don't know.
They're going to get a whole bunch of sound because I had to put the sound folders in there.
I feel like I'm getting sick, so I'm going to apologize because I'm going to mute my mic like all night long to like cough. But I promise I'll try to mute.
Oh, before we start, Ram, you might know the answer to this. Is there a way of putting an audio file into Windows Media Player and having it just play that file and not every other file that I have with it?
I don't know because I don't use Windows Media Player.
What do you use?
VLC.
Okay, guys. So if the sounds come a little bit longer because it brings up the next one, I will have that fixed the next time. I promise.
You need a soundboard application. Soundboard.org. And then I think it's .org, not .com. I could be wrong, but not only do they have like cloud storage for sound files, so you can store them on the internet. They also have like an application that you can install on your computer and then make a playlist, for example, and just click play on each file. And that's what I use for the shows that I host. Yeah, like I used it for Press Y, and now we use it for Blizzmasters.
Welcome to
what I'm
Nexus.
saying. So, just a suggestion.
It's funny, I was searching for it. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and give a little quick tweet out that we are live, and then we can get going.
Oh my goodness.
Well, at least the weather's nice there, Ram.
Yeah, the weather is so nice right now. Like, yay, ice storm. I'm so excited. I tweeted about it, and Zagnut said that he thought that I said it was an ice cream storm. So
that would be wonderful. You know what temperature it was here in Canada yesterday?
What?
63 degrees.
Oh my gosh. So wait, which part, like which side? Because I know
he's on my side of Canada.
A lot of people don't live in like central Canada, correct? Right?
Like well, central Canada is kind of like where Zan's from, right? Like it's basically you're north of Minnesota, north of the Dakotas. Mm-hmm. I'm on the easternish side, but we're really south. Like actually, I'm technically south of the northern part of California.
Oh.
Yeah. So like.
Okay.
You say you're near California?
No, we're like. Southern Ontario is more south than the northernmost part of Cali.
Got it.
Okay, I was like, but you said Eastern Canada.
Like we're actually like, if you're at the very top of California, you're a little bit more north than the southernmost part of Ontario. So it's like we're like everyone thinks Canada's like igloos and polar bears, but really we have a pretty, at least in Toronto, we get like That's what we're told.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, oh, it's not snowing there. It's like, no, it doesn't really snow here till January.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay, so I think we are ready to go. You guys good to go?
I am.
Okay, so
Sorry.
sorry.
Cleared my throat. I didn't mute my mic. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We can allow it. You have 2 of them.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and 3, 2. Oh, actually, what am I saying? Make sure you know what I'm counting down. So we're gonna hit record, in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Nexus, the podcast for the heroes of Blizzard Entertainment.
Hello, heroes! Thank you for tuning in to episode 4 of the Nexus. As usual, I'm your host, Adam Eastwood, and we'll have just 3 of us today. So along with me, I have the Paladin by Day and Hearthstone Paladin by Night, Remedies.
That's me. Hello. What is up, everybody? How are you all doing?
And our lore-loving, time-altering gamer, David Troy.
Hi, Adam. Hi, Rem. Hi, chat room. Hi, everybody listening. I'm really excited about today. We've got some really beefy topics, and also we get to spotlight a hero that I have a personal relationship with. Not that personal.
Whoa.
Now, real quick, before we get into our week in gaming, I just want to let everybody in the chat room know, and everybody that's listening, that next week we're going to have a small giveaway. We have a beta to the new DC Infinite Crisis MOBA. So what we're going to do with this is we're not going to go yelling it all over Twitter. We're going to leave it for just you in the chat room and those listeners. In order to win, you have to come next week, 10 Eastern time, to our chat room. At some point in the show, we're not going to tell people when. There'll be a question. First one to answer that question will get the beta key. So how does that sound to you guys?
Oh my god. Am I eligible?
You're not eligible, sorry.
Darn.
You'll have
That's
to
awesome,
get into
though.
the beta the old-fashioned way.
Okay. But that's awesome.
So we'll kind of go right into our week in gaming. And I know, David, you've had a pretty busy week. Why don't you let everybody know about that? Oh, what's going on with your Audacity? Real
Pause.
quick.
Yeah, sorry. I've got it on record, but it's not moving.
Okay, if you want to stop,
Yeah, sorry, guys.
no problem.
I'm not
That's
sure what
why-
happened there.
Yeah, just
I'd
stop.
rather do it now than later.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely, because we don't have to re-record the whole thing. That's only 2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, now it's moving. Sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead and
Yeah.
just exit. You know how to do that, right?
Yeah.
And now we got practice for the beginning. I thought it was really fast at the beginning anyways. I think I could have slowed down.
Sorry, chat room.
It's okay. Billy likes to hear us talk over and over about the same stuff. Why don't we come do a show that isn't out of beta yet? Or isn't
He's-
even in beta yet?
Yeah. Because he's DJ Blab. I've always wanted to
Okay.
say that. Okay.
Let's try it again.
Okay. So, go ahead and 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Nexus, the podcast for the heroes of Blizzard Entertainment.
Hello, heroes. Thank you for tuning in to episode 4 of The Nexus. I am your host, Adam Eastwood, and today we're a little short without Xantar, but we're going to go ahead and bring in our co-host anyways. Well, we have our Paladin by Day and Hearthstone Paladin by Night, Remedies.
That's me. Hello, everybody. What is up? I hope you have all had a wonderful week.
And of course, our lore-loving, time-altering gamer, David Troy.
Hello, Adam. Hello, Ram. Hello, chat room. Hello, everybody listening. I'm really excited about today's episode. We've got some really beefy topics and a champion, or hero rather, that we can talk about that I've got a very personal relationship with in Diablo.
Oh, my.
Not that personal.
Well, before we go ahead and get into our week in gaming, I just want to make a quick announcement. Next week, live here, we're going to give away a beta to the new DC MOBA Infinite Crisis. Now, what we're going to do to kind of reward those people who are listening on the podcast and coming to our live show is we're not going to talk about it on Twitter. We're not going to really promote it too much, but we want people to show up next week, 10 Eastern Standard Time, at www.twitch.tv/Heroes of the Nexus for your chance to win. It'll be a quick question. First one to get it right gets the beta key. So it's very exciting. I'll be happy to give that to somebody, especially if you guys take the time to listen to our podcast. We really do appreciate that. So David, I know you've had a pretty busy week in gaming. Why don't you let everybody know all about it?
Yeah, I really kind of jumped into a bunch of games this week that I hadn't been playing before. I took advantage of the Black Friday sale where StarCraft 2, Wings of Liberty, and Heart of the Swarm were both half price. So I started hitting that. This is really my first experience with StarCraft, but I really wanted to get into it, mainly because, of Heroes of the Storm. But you know what? I really like the storytelling. The game it seems familiar. I played Age of Empires back in the day, so I know RTS. But what I really kind of like is the way they present the lore. It really reminds me of, if anybody remembers Mech Warrior 2, Mercenaries, back in the day. It's presented so much like that I really like that kind of storytelling. I've also been playing some Diablo again, and I just got a Hearthstone beta key about 6 hours ago. So I'm going to be jumping into that.
Rats!
Yeah, so it's definitely, something I want to jump into, but, I'm still concentrating on the other stuff. I've also been pretty heavy in League of Legends this week. I found my champion, finally, that I'm really comfortable with, and I think I mentioned that I'd found one on an earlier podcast, but I'm playing Vygar now, the little tiny mage of evil, and really enjoying him quite a bit. And I'll talk a little bit about that more later on in the podcast, but I'm really digging it.
It seems like you just have a thing for Yordles, then?
I think so. I think I like Yordles. I like little monsters that can run in and cause damage and run away. Speaking of evil mages, in World of Warcraft with Salad Senate, we did have a pretty solid week of raiding. We got all the way to spoils in Siege of Orgrimmar, and we're going to be continuing the lockout. So we're hoping to get all the way through to maybe Siege Master next week.
Awesome.
How about you, Rem? What have you been up to this week?
I raided on Tuesday. We started over from the beginning. So, because we've been, I guess, stuck on Garrosh for a while now. Like 3 weeks. So we just started over and farmed. And played some LOL. Played some Hearthstone. Actually, I was like smashing face in Hearthstone yesterday. It was awesome. And then I've been like really busy with like work stuff, so that's been kind of putting a damper on my gaming. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I don't really game too much anymore, or at least the past couple of weeks. Been pretty busy with school, work, a little bit of gaming I've done as I raided for a little bit. I don't know, I'm starting to get the end of the expansion blues a little early this time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's a mix between my raid team's really not even full, so we're pugging a lot, or if it's, I just need to take a step back and raid a little bit differently. I'll see how it kind of goes. On the flip side, I've been playing some Dota 2, so that way I could get a kind of a little more, another MOBA under my belt, which I've been enjoying a lot. For me, I kind of like it a little bit better than League of Legends, just because I kind of like the visual style of it a little more. It's more the reminiscent of Warcraft 3, which, if anyone's played the original Defense of the Ancients, you had to get it as a Warcraft 3 mod. So I'm a big fan of that, and I had a lot of fun. I also, like we had mentioned earlier, there's the DC Infinite Crisis MOBA that's out there, so I have a beta for myself for that. So I haven't played that yet, so I'm looking forward to hanging out and playing that game with a couple people that I just found out have it.
Nice.
So that's pretty much been my weekend. Whoever wins it, next week you can certainly add me and we can play together and learn and start this community of ours in any game, because whatever game we're playing is going to be the one to play. It'll be
right.
fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of hit the big news topic of the week, which unfortunately didn't kind of revolve around Heroes of the Storm and all, but it did revolve around esports of a MOBA, and that's the League of Legends. So, Rem, I know you've been kind of, posting some articles about this. So why don't you give everybody a quick rundown of exactly what's going on with Riot and their LCS?
Okay, so there was an article on a website called ongamers.com, and they were lucky enough, I guess, to see a portion of the LCS contracts. And if you don't know what LCS is Riot, who makes League of Legends. It's their championship series for League of Legends pro teams. So it's kind of like what we have for StarCraft 2, the WCS. It's their version for the League of Legends competition. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. And so they, on Gamers.com, got to see a portion of the contracts for the players who are going to be participating in the LCS. And there was a part of it that, in my opinion, one wasn't worded very well because a lot of people had a lot of confusion about it. But it did pretty much say in a roundabout way that players who were involved in the LCS were forbidden to stream other games during the entirety of the LCS competition. So, and on that list were games like World of Warcraft, StarCraft, Hearthstone, Fat Princess, which is a PlayStation game. And it's super fun. If you haven't ever tried it, you should try it. I think it's like $5 or $10 on the PlayStation. So anyways, so yeah, there's just like this massive list of games that they weren't allowed to stream during the entirety of the competition, and this includes like when they're not playing in the like outside of the actual like hours of the competition. So like if they were in their hotel room at night and they wanted to stream gaming, the only game they were really allowed to stream would be League of Legends. And that is that. And then today, well, first of all, there was like a huge community discussion, for lack of a better word, on this contract that we all got to see. And then afterwards, so today I found that the esports director at Riot had posted on Reddit that they kind of took back the contract and the terms of it, and that they're going to change it. And now they pretty much aren't allowed to, oh my gosh, I can't like quote it here because I don't have it pulled up, but let me find it really quick. So if you want to talk about the first half.
I think what it was is they weren't allowed to get new sponsors while the LCS was going on, but they could still continue to stream whatever they were doing prior to it. I think that was kind of the redaction that we saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I think a lot of it had to do like what they can do while they're in queue for matches and such. Briefly going over it here, but yeah, so now they're allowed to play these other games that were prior forbidden in the first version of the contracts. Now they're allowed to, they're just not allowed to be sponsored by any of these companies. And there's a few other like minor caveats in it and stuff like that, but Riot did take back what they originally said. So
I know that me and Rem kind of have opposing theories, or at least thoughts on this. So we're going to kind of see what David has to say, because I know he kind of sits there in the middle, and we can kind of bookend him, or I guess, with what we think. So David, what are your views on what Riot's been up to?
Yeah, I'm going to start off on a bit of a tangent. In physics, they have something called the second law of thermodynamics, which is basically, the law of entropy, which is to say that, everything in the universe goes from an orderly state to a chaotic state. And I think the internet, though, kind of works in the opposite direction, which is that, everything in the internet, you pretty much, like, it very starts off freewheeling, very free, until people start making money off it. And then all of a sudden you see all of these rules pop up. And you see all of these things appear. And all of a sudden the internet stops feeling like something completely different than real life, and then starts sort of feeling a little bit like real life. And I think you're seeing that here. Whereas, we all want esports to be as big one day as, legacy sports like football, basketball. Well, things like the Olympics, they've got sponsorship agreements. You try running track in the Olympics, and then try streaming your race and you're going to get shot down. Olympic athletes can't even, promote products on their Facebook page that aren't official Olympic products. So to me, it didn't really come too much out of left field. To be honest, I wasn't really shocked by it. I think this is kind of a natural progression.
Mm-hmm. Now, just on that really quick, though. So with that analogy, they're not allowed, these Olympic players aren't allowed to promote said product that, whatever, on their Facebook page, because that is their, public extension, so that fans and people who like these people, it's like their, I guess, PR sheet, if you will. But they're not forbidden to have these things in the privacy of their own home or the privacy of their own time. You know what I mean? And I know streaming isn't privacy, but a lot of these players stream to their fans in their own, in their off time. So it's not any different, in my opinion, than you, hanging out with your friends and talking to your friends about the games that you like to play. Granted, yeah, these people are fans of the players, so, it's kind of a really gray area, in my opinion, as far as pro players streaming in their off time games that they're not being paid to play, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing with streaming, though, especially with some of these high-end players, is they're making money off their stream. So
true. Yes.
They are in fact, they're not amateurs on their stream. They could play anything considered, pro, because they're pro gamers. They're not necessarily just pro League of Legends until, they sign into a contract with Riot. So for me, I'm a fan of sports in general. Probably more when I was a little bit younger, living in a house with my brother and my father. They were into football, basketball, baseball. Nowadays, with family, I don't spend as much time watching sports. But I know definitely early in mid 90s, late 90s time frame, there was a player called Deion Sanders, and he's one of the best athletes in Florida. Coming out of high school in Florida, playing 3 or 4 sports at a time. Well, when he got drafted into two separate leagues. So if for me, looking at 2 separate leagues, it's kind of looking at Riot's LCS and any other tournament or even streams outside of it where they're able to make money. Well, originally, part of his NFL contract specifically stated that he wasn't able to make money playing baseball or promote baseball during the NFL season. From training to when his season ended, whether it be if he made it to Super Bowl or whatever. So, weird thing that happened was, he didn't think it was going to affect him, so he agreed to the contracts. Why wouldn't he? He was going to make millions of dollars. Well, he was on a team that made it to the postseason baseball, which overlaps with the football season, and he wasn't allowed to play because of it. And I feel like this is very similar because outside of the League of Legends season, they are allowed to just stream all they want, but it's only during I think it's a 9-month period of time that's really considered the LCS season from last year that they can't do it. And I feel like if esports wants to be thought of as real sports, which I would love it to be, television coverage and everything, it's going to fall into the same rules that conventional sports have fallen into for a while. And it's going to continue, and, maybe it's not the best for, say, the community, but that's what happens in regular sports as well. Now, the flip side of it is it's not something that sticks around for long. So the same player, Deion Sanders, towards the end of the 90s, he's this great player. He goes to play for a new NFL team, and in his contract, he specifically says that he needs to be able to play in postseason baseball games in order for him to sign that contract. I think eventually, because we're going to get into these times where the players are going to have a little bit more say, because it'd be like people go to see them play, that's where you're going to start seeing stuff like this kind of be less of an issue, especially for the big players. For example, Jae Dong for StarCraft 2, he probably could write the contract. He'd be like, you want me to play in your league, then you're going to have to give me some concessions as well. So that's kind of my angle on it, especially considering I want to see esports not even be esports anymore, just be a sport overall.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's the gaming community in general, though, so is what sets us apart from, physical sports. Because, like, anybody who's something of a gamer, we don't really just play one game. Like, that's pretty rare in a gamer. Somebody who's like, I am a gamer. Most gamers that I have met in my entire life and known don't just play one game. Like, you don't meet somebody who's like, oh no, all I play is Call of Duty. That's it. Like, somebody who plays Call of Duty probably also plays Halo and, I don't know, Ghost Recon. I'm not a first-person shooter. I'm just using it. But you know what I mean? Like, so I play World of Warcraft, and I play StarCraft, and I play Hearthstone, and I play League of Legends. And, like, the list of games that I like to play is, like, huge. That's because I think that I'm a gamer, and I like to play video games. So for me, seeing that, like, these kind of restrictions put on people who are gamers, it just feels unfair because this is our nature. This is how gamers are. We play video games, lots of them, not just one. So to me, it just feels like an injustice against a gamer. But
and I would think that the people who are athletes, they probably feel very similar to the way you're feeling because, you know, like I said, Deion Sanders, for example, he did everything. It was like there was always the jokes on TV. He's like, which one do you want to do? He's like, I'm doing both, baseball, basketball, whatever. He didn't care. So for me, that's the kind of I'm trying to. You know, at first I was up in arms just like you were, and then I started thinking about it and remembering back to when that was happening. And so, you know, I can kind of see that. And more kind of nowadays, I've never seen a NFL player, you know, be like, I love the CFL, you know, like, let's go Canadian football during the regular season.
because they're not allowed to.
It's right. Okay, I don't even like Canadian football.
So, David, sorry, I know I cut you off, so...
No, I mean, I think, I'm going to date myself a little bit, and I mean, Bo Jackson was in a very similar position as well. I mean, if you want to talk about how restrictive it is for pro athletes, it's not, I mean, to Rem's point about it's your free time, if you're a professional athlete, you're not allowed to play certain sports due to risk of injury and things like that. Like, I'm not allowed to skydive. I'm not allowed to, you know, ride a motorcycle, things like that, like, or my contract is void. So, I mean, I don't think, it's not like League of Legends is coming down and saying, you know, we're going to call the League of Legend cops after you. I mean, it's just essentially, you know, whatever money, you know, you're breaking your contract. I mean, and talking about, like, you know, a lot of gamers play a lot of different games. I mean, StarCraft 2 guys, like the top StarCraft 2 guys in Korea, I mean, they don't seem like they're really much doing anything but playing StarCraft. And I might be wrong. I mean, I may be working off older. Yeah, I may be working off older information, but from my impression was that that's pretty much what they're doing.
I would say it depends on the player.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, Artosis, for example, used to be a pro StarCraft player. Now he's a shoutcaster for many StarCraft tournaments, but he also plays Hearthstone. He was recently in the BlizzCon Hearthstone competition. The Innkeeper's Invitational. So, like, I think there's still, like, a lot of, I don't know, I'm just going to go with gamers play more than one game.
But isn't the key point in what you said there that he used to be a pro? Like, he's not a pro
But, I mean,
anymore.
he still plays. Well, he's just not, like a sponsored player anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in reality, though, the number of players that this affects is minimal. Wouldn't you agree? Like, of the total players out there, I should have looked it up, but what are there, like 16, 32 teams that play in this LCS series that would have to sign that type of a contract?
Yes, but that's five people per team also.
But with
so this isn't going to affect me, right?
No, it won't affect you.
Yeah,
David.
no.
Because I'm getting pretty good.
You can see anything you want.
Okay, I'm getting pretty good at it, so I just want to make sure this isn't affecting me.
So, Rem, do you have any final thoughts before we kind of move on?
I'm really glad that Riot redacted their contract, that they changed it a little bit, and they said that players are allowed to stream these other games while they're, you know, waiting in queue or in their off hours or whatever. Because what that says of Riot is that they're, I guess, open-minded to an extent, and they're not like being crazy controlling. But I do feel like what you guys have to say, you know, about it being professional and that this is how physical sports are anyways, and all of that. Like, that is totally valid. I don't disagree with all of that. I just think that it's slightly different because of the nature of how gaming is. And that's like my final end all, if you will.
David, anything else you want to kind of throw in there?
League of Legends made a business decision. I mean, they thought they were making a good business decision by putting this out there in the first place. The reaction was so strong that they realized that they were harming their business by pursuing that. And I mean, everyone's there to make money, and they figured they're going to lose more money by restricting the players rather than just making the change that they did.
Okay, then with that, we're going to go ahead and move right into our next segment.
This is the Hero Spotlight.
And every week we take a look into one of the heroes of the storm. This week we're going to be taking a look at Naziba, the witch doctor from Diablo 3. David, what do you have kind of pertaining to the lore of the witch doctor?
Well, I'm going to be pretty quick this week because, Naziba isn't that established a character, but, the idea of the witch doctor in Diablo certainly is, at least since Diablo 3 came out. I mean, the witch doctors are basically, spellcasters that come from the Umbaru tribes, the Umbaru area. And the witch doctor in Diablo in particular comes from a tribe called the Tribe of the Five Hills. They're frequently engaged in warfare with two other groups, the Clan of the Seven Stones and the Tribe of the Clouded Valley. Now, the interesting thing about these wars are that it's not really wars of conquest. It's more of a ritual than anything else. And the idea of the ritual is not to get land or get power. It's basically just to get the materials that they need for their witchcraft, which are basically human sacrifices, both people and people parts. So, the witch doctor is not, the prettiest thing to deal with, but, it's certainly unique in a lot of the role-playing game universes. The idea of the power behind the witch doctor is that they believe in what's called the Imbuiru Ikura, and I hope I pronounced that right, but I probably didn't. It translates to the unformed land, and it's this idea that, there's reality that you see, and then there's the reality that's veiled, the true reality that's behind that, which is more of a spiritual force. When you look at the witch doctor, it's not really a warrior, it's not necessarily a shaman, it's not a mage, it's not going to hit you with arcane bolts. What it's going to do is raise the dead. It's going to stab you with a ceremonial dagger. It's going to, use this nature around you, but in kind of a hideous way to attack you. When you're looking, and that's why it's a different type of role, and that's why it's not really a warrior or an assassin, but a specialist in Heroes of the Storm. Basically, its sort of passive standard ability is that it's going to poison their enemies, and by poisoning their enemy, the witch doctor actually gains strength from it. It restores some of its health and mana. So even the idea of sacrificing others gives it power. And that's what really makes it kind of an interesting character. I play a witch doctor in Diablo, and I love it.
Nice. Yeah, they have another really cool ability called corpse spiders, and they're going to toss a vial at a target location, and then it's going to create a wave of spiders, and the enemies that are hit by either the vial or the spiders are going to take damage over time. So it seems like the witch doctor is definitely going to have this damage over time thing. That's their thing, just like in Diablo.
Yeah, and you know what? My favorite ability in any game is the Plague of Toads, and that's what they're going to be using in Heroes of the Storm. Basically, they're carrying a bag of toads that they're essentially throwing out into a cone that's exploding. These are exploding toads, blowing up all over people to cause all kinds of damage. I mean, this is to me, I always think of this is something Gonzo from the Muppet Show would do if he was fighting in a video game. It's just I love it. It's so unique and it's so interesting. It's just again, I can't talk about how much I love this class.
Yeah.
I think you got it there, the Muppet MOBA.
The Muppet MOBA. I would love that.
Oh my god, no. No, because it'd be Miss Piggy and Kermit and no. I got
dibs on that. They'd all have their baby skins. from the Muppet Babies?
Oh my God! Stop! No.
I want giant from the Muppet movie. That's what I want.
Okay, so Naziba also has an ability called Wall of Mummies, and it's the male witch
It's both.
doctor, right? Oh,
It's
okay.
actually, we'll get into that in a little bit. It's actually technically
Okay.
both.
Okay, so Naziba will summon a circle of mummies after a short delay that prevents enemies from passing through them and attack nearby foes. The mummies can be killed by damaging them. So this is really cool because any kind of hero class that can summon things to do their dirty work for them is pretty cool because like while they're doing their thing, you can still be getting off other shots and abilities.
And as we've talked about in other weeks, the heroes will each have kind of a choice of 2 ultimate abilities, and they call them heroic abilities in this game. But I think a lot of people are going to just call them ultimates, because that's what they're used to. The first is our Gargantuan. It summons a monstrous golem under Naziba's control that can attack enemies. Basically, like you said, you can summon monsters to do your bidding and still do your own work at the same time. The other option will be Voodoo Doll, which is a channel which will have a Naziba manifesting a voodoo doll that'll constantly deal damage in an AoE around it. So both these abilities really lead to different play styles. One is where you have to kind of sit there and channel, so I think it'll probably be a little more damage dealing because it's AoE, where the Gargantuan's like more single target because he's going to be attacking one target at a time, unless obviously maybe cleaves and stuff could take into effect at that point. Now, last week we had the question about how Arthas was going to kind of fit in with the abilities from the games, and I really felt like that was something we should really talk about every week with every character. So, I know myself, I started off as a Witch Doctor in Diablo 3, and I've since moved on just because I'm trying to get every character up to max level. But I felt like every single one of these abilities came directly out of Diablo. And Diablo, of any of the games, really has that capability to get them right out there because it's not too far off, you know?
Yeah. As far as like the way that abilities are set up anyways, because you can only use so many at a time anyway.
Yeah, you have 6 abilities in Diablo, and you have 5 in here. And the passive ability is even, the basic attack being a poison is very much like the basic attack, you're spitting out a poison dart in Diablo 3. David, being a kind of a main Witch Doctor player, what of these abilities, do you use all these abilities in Diablo? Are there certain ones that you pick and choose?
I mean, I play Diablo. I'm not a great Diablo player. I mean, certainly Corpse Spiders and Plague of Toads I throw out there a lot just because I love the idea of it, just throwing animals at people. I guess maybe there's something sick about me. I don't know, but I just love exploding animals. But I think in this game, to me, Wall of Mummies is really interesting. I think that's a really interesting ability, and I haven't really used that too much in Diablo, but I think that's something that's going to be big in this.
Yeah, because they have and it could be just a translation error from what people remember, because I know that was Wall of Zombies in the game. So
yeah, okay, then that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's
what you're thinking of in the game.
That's what I'm thinking of, was Wall of Zombies.
The zombie dongs, right? Don't they have like the little dog things that are?
You can get zombie dogs. You can get Wall of Zombies. You can have a zombie charger. There's a lot of these abilities that, if they decide to make it so you can change some of your lower level, I call them lower level, but your basic attacks and stuff, they could actually really move them in there and say, hey, we have a different version of the Witch Doctor if you'd like to play.
That's right.
Now, Rem, you're a big fan of the skins, and one thing that I noticed is they have both the male and the female version of the skins.
Okay.
And Naziba,
I can dig that.
It's kind of, there's no telling, what's it, gender neutral name. If you ask me, it's because you think about it, you're like, I don't know, because it's kind of a foreign name. So I think that's interesting, and I wonder if they're going to continue to do that with all of the Diablo characters, seeing as that when Diablo, you can go back with either of them.
Well, I don't think that they're doing it with the Demon Hunter, right? Vala is only female. I have not seen myself a male alternate skin.
I haven't seen one yet, but who knows? I don't
Who
know
knows?
what their plans
That's
are.
right.
I mean,
Maybe if they, because Vala sounds like a really feminine name to me. Maybe if they gave us a skin to play the male demon hunter, maybe his name will be like Valo. I don't know.
they'll just
Blizzard can
rename
do
the
whatever
skin.
they want. So yeah.
I think they would have a hard time creating a separate class for a male-female version.
Well, no, I don't mean that, but I mean like if you bought that skin
No,
for the
yeah.
demon hunter, it would just change the character's name. Like you're still playing that hero. All of the abilities are still the same, but the skin also would change your name. I don't know.
I agree. No, I was actually agreeing with you.
Oh,
Did you-
okay. Sorry.
I was saying that it would make it hard for them to do it
Right,
the other way,
okay.
where they
Okay.
have to make two completely different feeling heroes based on the same character class.
Right. Yeah.
in it.
Did you guys see the really interesting thing with the Witch Doctor skin? Which is that it's the only skin I think that they've identified so far that actually incorporates all three games.
Mm-hmm.
It actually, the Witch Doctor is holding a troll head and actually has a Zergling skull on the back of his belt.
What?
So, you know, it's like, it's this whole idea of the unformed world. The Witch Doctor can kind of cross through, you know, it's looking at reality from a different perspective. So it is actually, there's a little bit of World of Warcraft, a little bit of StarCraft, and a lot of Diablo in there.
Mm-hmm. I think part of that, too, is really the Witch Doctor is in both lore for both WoW and Diablo, and that's kind of where it crosses over well anyways, because you have a lot of troll Witch Doctors in World of Warcraft. It's kind of like, you know, with Zalazane and some of those main, you know, troll enemies end up being Witch Doctors.
Yeah, it's a very iconic troll type enemy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
and then
seeing the
the other
Zerg.
skin that we were able to see was kind of like a demon skin, where a little more demoned out. You know, it was okay. I'd like to see them do a few more fun things with the Witch Doctor. You know, the actual World of Warcraft one or StarCraft Witch Doctor out there. But, you know, we're going to see tons of new stuff coming out with skins. I mean, those in other MOBAs are, you know, come quick.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going to move on yet again to our next segment of the day. This time it's going to be to our new hero section.
Heroes here, heroes here, no heroes needed here, no heroes wanted.
And once again, like always, we go over some terms and gameplay features for the new players out there. Want to make sure that, you know, people have a place to start, so don't feel like they are coming into a world where they have no idea what's going on. This week we're going to actually have a two-parter. We're going to have part one of our in-game roles, and that's going to start off with the AD carry, and that's Rem. What's that all about?
So, the AD carry is a player who is going to do a lot of damage. That's pretty much your job, is to do damage and kill stuff and not die. Dying kind of makes you useless, in my opinion. So, in the beginning of any match, the AD carry is usually somebody who's very weak. So, you want to farm lots of minions, get lots of last hits on minions. I won't go into whole bunches of details, but usually you'll see the AD carries are very, very, very strong at the end of a match. They're almost impossible to... They will kill you. So, yeah, they get very nasty by the end of a match, and they're very scary. You should never try to face one by yourself, ever. And then another thing is they don't really rely a lot on the use of their abilities. They'll stack a lot of items that give them attack damage, which just means just them auto-attacking is going to do a lot of damage. And that's the gist of an AD carry.
Mm-hmm. And the next one we're going to go over is the Bruiser. Now, the Bruiser is a champion with high effective health and damage per second. So he's kind of a good middle ground between like a tank and, like you were saying, an AD carry. Where AD carry kind of wants that support with them at all times to make sure they're alive or to take the death over them. The Bruiser can actually go in and kind of deal with enemies on its own. You know, historically, when we were talking about lanes last week, this is the type of player that would be in the top lane by himself, because he'll be able to handle that type of issues as they arise.
Yeah, and you know, to talk a little bit about mid laning, essentially what a mid lane character is going to be is it's someone who's going to be like hitting for a lot of damage and then basically running away really quick. When I first started playing League of Legends, I played a champion called Corki, and basically he can come in, do some good AoE damage, and then basically he has an ability where he can just jump away really quick. That's one way that you can play mid lane. What I'm playing right now is a champion called Vigar, and it's a little bit different. He can also go in and cause a lot of damage, but he's also got an amazing crowd control ability where he can just basically stun whoever's coming in to attack you and gives you time to run away. So the idea there is that, run in, do a quick strike, guerrilla combat, and then basically use your GTFO ability essentially and survive to fight another day.
And the reason we kind of put these three together is they can seem very similar to somebody who hasn't really played a MOBA, because they all deal damage, and they all tend to, from the outlook, have the same job. The main difference being a bruiser is a little more able to survive hits. A mid laner, which kind of uses their abilities than the auto attacks, like Remit said, has more abilities to kind of get them out of a jam, get them to, like you say, GTFO, and survive on their own. And the AD carry is really, really
a glass cannon.
A glass cannon, yes, exactly. So that's kind of why we brought those three together. Rem, for you, which one do you play? Any of these three normally, or
Not normally, no. But if I was to play any of these three, I think I would prefer mid laners. Just because like being able to do damage and then kind of like save yourself or have an oh crap button would be more of my preference.
Yeah, and I mentioned before I like to play mid laners. I think what you mentioned, Adam, is important because when we talk about glass cannons, what I'm playing right now in League of Legends, at first sight would look like a glass cannon, but it's really not. It's something where you do have a certain amount of mobility that you can get away from.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for me, playing Dota, I actually made sure to grab one of each of these and try them out and see in a different game other than League of Legends, how they felt. And oh man, it's horribly obvious, I feel like, in Dota. I played the sniper character. He, was your glass cannon. If he wasn't dealing damage and staying away, he was dead. And you can see it in his abilities because he had a passive ability that actually made it so he outranged the towers. So he could fire on a tower without getting hit back.
Right.
For an AD carry, and he's the AD carry version. The mid laner was the Drow Ranger, where she had definitely like damaging abilities and passive to add damage, but she was able to slow her enemies so she could run away. She was able to spell lock people as well for that reason. And then the third, the Bruiser, was the Brewmaster, which, if anyone knows me, that's what I play in World of Warcraft, so I was like, oh, I gotta try it. And even he definitely had the survivability, he could slow down, and when it came to it, he could really put a hurting down on an enemy, but only single target. His AoE abilities were just not there. And not playing a Bruiser too often, I'm not sure if that's common, but from what I've seen and what I've heard, it seems very viable that's his issue. So, did you guys have anything to add about these three class roles in game, or do you think we pretty much hit everything?
Yeah, that's pretty much everything now. Like sometimes depending on your group comp, you won't always see specifically these roles always going to those specific lanes. Sometimes you'll see people who change the meta up a little bit, or depending on your team or what the other team is doing, sometimes you have to make adjustments on the fly and send your bruiser bottom lane. And yeah, so like just always keep that in mind, but this is kind of like the usual, the standard. But there are instances where this laning setup would be different.
And I would definitely press people to kind of do what I did and try them all out and see what you like. I know originally I've been more of a support player, but kind of trying out and branching, I've come to find that I enjoy a lot of different styles. And really, there's some champions that can play multiple ways, which is interesting.
I agree.
Yeah, and I go out there, try them out, and play around. Really, it's a great time. So we're going to go ahead into our questions for the week.
Questions.
Now the question comes from Agathon. He's if you nobody knows who he is, he runs Agathon's Rage Bar over on YouTube, and he kind of has a two-part question. There is a two-part. Sorry, no, it's one part. But there's a big answer to it, so that's why we're kind of giving it plenty of time. His question was, how is Heroes of the Storm going to be able to compete with League of Legends when even Dota 2 isn't stacking up, and other contenders such as Heroes of Newerth have failed miserably? Rem, what do you feel about that?
It's hard to say, to be honest with you, because the game's not out, and all we have to judge on it is what Blizzard has told us. And if you know anything about Blizzard, Blizzard doesn't always do what they say they're going to do. I hate to be like a naysayer because I love Blizzard games, but it is true. If anybody ever remembers like Dance Studio, just to give an example. So based on what we do know about Heroes, I think it will be successful. I don't know if it will be as successful as League of Legends. Because League of Legends has like what? I don't know, 50 million players or something like that. So it's just really, really hard to say. I'm very hopeful, though, because I love the changes that they're making, even though there are minimal changes to the whole MOBA genre. I think some of them are very, very much needed, like team leveling, for an example.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm just going to mark that because things went haywire in Skype.
Yeah, we lost David.
So just keep your thing recording and I will fix this.
Okay. Oh, Dave. Well, hello.
Hello. Well, I got your video back at least.
Yay.
And we're just, hopefully I'll call David back. So we ended with the team leveling. Let's see. Wonder. Let me try sending him a message. So while we're waiting on this, anyone in the chat room happen to have like a question that they might want answered, or well, you know, we can throw it in there if you have any questions.
It's question time. Uh-oh.
While I was trying to type to David, see if he's there.
Yes, about MOBAs, anything in, yeah. Heroes of the Storm, granted we only know what Blizzard has said, so we don't have any like inside scoop, but if you have MOBA questions or anything like that, we will definitely answer. When do you think the beta for Warcraft will be? The like Warlords of Draenor, I think it will be in March. That's just my completely uneducated guess.
March? See,
yeah, March.
I'm thinking we're going to start seeing a rollout of betas like crazy soon.
I don't know.
I'm hoping, because I think we're going to see Reaper of Souls. Your thing's going to be all messed up until David gets back, just so you know, if you're trying to fix yourself in the screen.
Oh,
because you're taking up a wider angle than normal.
I see. Okay. As long as they can't see everything, then we're good.
Yeah. We got Reaper of Souls beta coming out beginning of the year, Warlords of Draenor, Heroes of the Storm. As much as I'd love to say January, February, I think we're looking closer to April.
Oh, I don't even think it'll be that soon, to be honest with you. I think it'll be like summer or late summer or early fall.
First half. They said first half. I'm crossing my fingers because otherwise you guys are gonna hear us talking about.
But this is the same thing though. Blizzard says, and Blizzard doesn't always do. So.
Yeah. Otherwise, these people are going to hear us talking about League of Legends, Dota 2, DC Infinite Crisis. We're going to be a MOBA podcast at some point.
Oh yeah, I know, right? Like, so Svensson also wants to know when is WildStar coming out. Now, don't everyone hate me here when I say this, but I am not that, like, I'm a gamer. Don't get me wrong. I love video games, but I don't know very much about WildStar. I don't follow it. I'm not in that, like, scene, I guess. So, what's WildStar? It's an MMO, right?
Yeah, it's funny. It's showing your neck on the
Yes,
stream
I
now.
know. I can see that.
I'm trying to fix it because he's completely gone now. Let me try to fix this. Oh, because that's where I normally am.
Oh, Svensson forgave me. But Adam, do you know anything about WildStar? Like, do you know when?
So I was super excited about WildStar when it was announced, and that was something like 2 or 3 years ago. And man, I didn't get into the beta, and if I did, I couldn't tell you because it's under NDA right now. And if anyone knows me, I am a huge Firefly fan, and now I don't know if I can show anymore. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm a huge Firefly fan, and to me, it feels like if you take it's a sci-fi western basically, and you mix that in with World of Warcraft kind of graphically, you get WildStar. So for me, I was kind of hoping that it was going to come out soon, but alas, I am waiting, honestly.
Yes. Oh,
Yay!
oh, I think David's coming back. Maybe.
Hey, David.
I am back.
Yay!
We are glad to have you back.
Sorry. Yeah, there's an ice storm 1,000 miles away that's affecting my internet.
It's funny because I'm having terrible internet tonight, but I have not DC'd yet, so.
Yeah, my bad.
The chat room got to look at Rem's neck.
Yes, because like when you went away, so the video was all jacked up, and then it was like zoomed in on my neck.
I had to do spur of the moment live editing.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, I paused my Audacity. So.
okay, so ooh.
We start.
Adam, it's okay.
Yes.
I after the show, I can tell you how to get all of the audio without
No, I know how to
after
fix
the
it.
show.
I'll be able to fix it.
Yeah, sorry
So-
about that, guys.
Oh, no worries. So go ahead and go back to recording.
I'm now recording again.
Okay. And so we ended with what did you say? Oh, Blizzard has to give what they promise, and that's how we're gonna know if they.
Right, yeah, that's how, I mean, it's hard to say whether Heroes is going to be as successful as League of Legends, because League of Legends is huge, and that's like saying, is this amateur NFL player going to be as good as Brett Favre? You know what I mean? Like, one has been in this and has a big following and all of this stuff. So we just have to wait. But I am very hopeful, and I think that there are a lot of changes in Heroes that a lot of other MOBA players are very excited about and very happy that are coming in this game. So it just depends. Blizzard needs to deliver what they have promised us, and also more, and just generally be better than League of Legends, and it will happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me the key is not so much competing with them as just kind of growing the pie, like getting players in who hadn't been playing before. I think they've got a great base that they can work with in terms of World of Warcraft, and I think just bringing in more people to play. I don't think they have to completely compete head to head.
Now, my thing is that we're really kind of. When I looked at this question, there's two different parts to this question. Well, at least for me, is it going to compete player-wise? And I think because it's a Blizzard game, it might not hit the 50 million active accounts or whatever the number is for League of Legends. That's ridiculous. But it's going to get a huge number of people playing. Just because it's a Blizzard franchise and it's pulling in all the franchises. StarCraft people are going to play it because really it's a similar engine to StarCraft. Warcraft people are going to play it because they're going to come out with mages like Jaina Proudmoore and paladins like Uther that people are going to be like, you know what? I want to be able to jump in, play 15 to 20 minutes, and go from there. So from total players, you're going to see a lot of people playing it. I don't think there's going to be a shortage of people playing it, no matter how good of a game it ends up being. It's free to play as well, so you're going to see everyone clamoring to at least get a little look into the game. The other aspect is for me is the esports aspect of it, and I know Rem feels the same way. Is how successful of an esport is it going to be? Dota 2. It's not so successful in esports right now, but it's also just gotten out of beta, and we're going to see people, moving over to Dota 2, and I think Dota 2 and Han, they all, when they saw the news of Riot, they were like, oh yes, we're going to get some of these players our way. Yeah. So I mean, that really depends on the community, like they've said so often, and I think.
And I mean, Blizzard kind of said it themselves when a lot of times that they've spoken about, Hearthstone, and I think they may have also mentioned it in Heroes Conversations, but the whole esports factor is really up to the community. The more the community drives it, the more that Blizzard will give us the utilities we need to make these games, spectator mode, esports. So, we have to be the ones that are supporting this and bringing these things to Blizzard's attention, essentially, and telling them that this is what we want. And they've pretty much told us that that's what they want us to do with these games. So, must happen.
And for me, I think, I don't know if I've said it here, if I've said it on other podcasts, the changes that they're making to the game that are, that we've been told of that aren't necessarily set in stone are changes that are going to make it, I think, more user-friendly for an esport experience. The shorter matches are key to this because even, my love for MOBAs out there, I've been playing League of Legends for a while now, but it's hard for me to watch them on anything, on a stream, just because I feel like it really lacks that, kind of bite-sized gameplay. You get into a match for an hour and 15 minutes, and I just feel like you might as well have just watched the last 20, 25 minutes of it.
Yes.
So I think that we're going to see the 15, 20-minute matches that they're aiming for make it more conducive to bigger tournaments. More people can compete, which will then bring in more people to watch because you can kind of get your fan favorites. You get some storylines in there like, oh, they got beat last time, and this time someone else is competing, So I'm excited for that. And that's also how I think they're going to compete in gameplay as well, is if they keep it to that 15 to 20 minutes, you're going to get people who can just stop in and play, in between, at lunch at work because they want to have a little gaming experience. You're going to get the people who, they get home from work at 10, 11 o'clock at night and they only want like a half hour to wind down playing a game. They're going to jump play Heroes of the Storm instead of League of Legends because you don't know what's going to happen with that.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I think, to that point, I think that's a great point because I know, like in terms of legacy sports, I find baseball virtually unwatchable now. Just because it's so slow paced, and I don't have the time to sit there and watch anything for 3.5 hours. And it's obviously at a smaller scale, comparing say League of Legends to Heroes of the Storm. But yeah, I people want like their little 20-minute snippets. That's what they want. It's a fast paced world, and the attention span of everyone's gotten shorter.
And the worst of it is, we're talking a lot about the time, but that's like I think the biggest thing that it has going for it. It, was it Saturday or the Saturday before Rem where I was playing a League of Legends match, and you're like, oh, you're on, let's play a game together, and I'm like, oh, I'm almost done, and then 40 minutes later, you were like a half hour into your own game.
Yeah, I was like, and then afterwards, I don't even think that evening we even played because when I was done, I was like, I have to go to bed now,
Yeah.
So like for, when friends want to play with each other, waiting, and then, obviously I was thinking, oh, well, he's in a match, so I have time to do a match, and we never got to sync up very well. So I think like in Heroes, for example, if I saw that you were in a match, I have the option myself, okay, I can probably wait 10 or 15 minutes for him to end his match, or vice versa. If I had started a match while you were in yours, and then when you finished yours, I was still in mine, you could gauge and be like, well, she probably only has like 10 minutes. And then you could decide whether you wanted to wait 10 minutes versus 45 minutes, for one person to finish a match and play with your friend. I think it's ridiculous. So that, I think, is a really big driving point for Heroes, for sure.
Yeah, not to get too much into World of Warcraft analysis for people listening that may not play it, but do you think this is a lesson that they learned from Heroic Dungeons and Cataclysm?
I think so, yes.
Yeah, like the idea, and to give some background, I mean, the Heroic Dungeons, which were, historically kind of 20-25-minute runs, became 45 minutes to an hour in the Cataclysm expansion, and there was a lot of negative feedback to it. And I know certainly they changed that up in the latest expansions, Mists of Pandaria.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I think this is another lesson they've also learned from Arena in World of Warcraft as well in terms of esports, because they're making it so people will actually want to watch it, because you're going to have shorter matches that have like almost a defined time that's going to take place, and the maps are going to have objectives that help you to push the victory quicker. And they can tune those up and down and really affect how long a match will last, where right now in Arena, matches could go on forever until they put like this weird debuff in there that is kind of an artificial ending to the game.
Yeah, they have like a time limit, essentially. I think it's like 20 minutes or something that a match can go on before you get like that debuff, I think it is. But even before that, I think during Cataclysm they just had a 20-minute timer. I could be incorrect, but it's been a long time since I've PvP'd in World of Warcraft. But I think they had a 20-minute timer, and then if nobody had won, the match like literally ended in a draw, if I remember correctly. And then before that, in Wrath of the Lich King, there was nothing. Matches would just go on and on and on and on until one team won. So it could get ridiculous.
Right. And with this, like I said, the objectives, it's like, the Dragon Shrine matches are taking on a little bit longer than expected. They pump up the ability of the Dragon Shrine and give it a bigger buff, and then you're limiting how long the match is going to last. It's something they can control to make it fun for everyone, and that's what I'm looking forward to.
Me too.
So we're going to wind down on the episode for tonight. Did you guys have anything else you want to add on to this question, or anything we really talked about today? You feel like we've hit everything pretty good?
I think we hit it on hit the nail on the head. How's that saying? That's how the saying goes, right?
Hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I think that's the saying.
Plague of toads. Just remember, everybody, plague of toads. Wherever you go to a party, bring a bag of toads, and you'll have a good time.
And the Muppets MOBA.
And the Muppets MOBA. So let's kind of close down the show, or at least the recording. We'll hang out with you guys for a little bit. David, let everyone know where they can find you, in-game, out-of-game, streaming, YouTube, podcast, whatever you can think about.
If you want to find me on Twitter, I can be found at BrelancTR. That's 2 L's, 2 A's. You can also find, I do write at blizzmaster.com. We've got a Hero Spotlight already up on Uther and Arthas, and we're going to have one on the Witch Doctor coming up as well.
That's
and
right.
Rem, you?
So you can follow me on Twitter at Remedeezy, REMEDEEZY. If you like listening to me, this is such a weird thing to do, but if you like listening to me on podcasts, you can find me on Realm Maintenance. Now I'm helping Ro with Realm Maintenance. And then obviously I am also the host of the Blizzmaster Show, which is the official podcast for Blizzmaster.com. And I do a lot around Blizzmaster.com. So there you go.
And you can find me on Twitter at Geek of Random, as well as the show at the Nexus Podcast. Send any questions you have for the show to either our Twitter or show@heroesofthenexus.com. We're out of questions right now, so we'd love to answer anything coming in, mobile related. We might even take some just general Blizzard questions, lore. If like you had a question about something we've already gone over, we'd just love to hear from you. Let us know. You can find us all over the internet: Twitch, YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, Windows Marketplace. Please take a moment to rate us if you won't mind. We'd love to hear your feedback, just so we know what we can do to improve the show. If there's something you don't particularly like or you think that goes on, let us know. We want to make this the best possible podcast out there. Come join the forums over at heroesofthenexus.com, and like they've said before, we're members of the Blizzmaster Network, and proud to be a part of it. I know Xantar was sad he couldn't make it tonight, but as he said last week, I think we're going to have to make it his kind of going away phrase, and it was, what was it? May all your gank strike true. So have a great night, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Toads.
Okay, you guys can stop it. Oh, that was funny.
Stopping recording.
That was good.
Yeah, sorry guys, my internet connection.
No, I think we're.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I think we're getting better. I think we flow well together. See, this is why I didn't want to start a podcast right when the beta started, because we'd all be like, "Oh, how do we, work well together?"
Right? Yeah. No, I agree. Oh my gosh, Muppets MOBA. Can we talk about this for a second?
Yeah.
So I think that's got to be the title of the show. At first,
I can't think of all of the Muppets though. How many Muppets are there?
Mad Bomber, that Mad Bomber guy, mid-lane.
the Swedish chef,
sure.
He throws fish at you. He's like,
The Swedish chef.
Orkin.
I would play him just for the audio on that thing.
Oh my gosh. So, I'm not, I watched Muppets when I was a kid, like most kids do. But it's not something that I've really seen a lot of since I've grown up, even though I don't think that I'm very grown up. But Jim Henson makes the Muppets, correct?
Oh, he did. Yeah, he died. Kind of
Right.
in a really sad way. But yeah, he
Back in the
doesn't
day.
make them anymore.
Yes, but you know what the sad part is? He just made the Muppets because he needed money. That was his cash cow. Because he wanted to make the Dark Crystal. That was his dream.
Yeah,
Right,
The Dark
yeah.
Crystal, great movie. The funny thing with the Muppets is it started off on Saturday Night Live, and they were really disgusting. They weren't cute, fun Muppets. They were these really disgusting Muppets. And then they had the Muppet Show out in the '70s, which I actually saw live, just to date myself. So when it came out, I saw the Muppet movie, and I cried at the Muppet movie, and it's why I don't eat frogs' legs to this day.
But there's a new Muppets movie out, right? Cause
Yes,
Coltrane
it's
did
coming
the
out soon.
trailer for it.
Yep.
The-
I love the one with Jason Segel because
Coltrane?
I'm just a huge Jason. Yeah, Coltrane did it.
Yeah, he did the voiceover and the
Yeah.
announcer, the Mr. Movie Phone voice
Yeah, he's
for
like-
the trailer.
One
my,
Muppet.
My Muppet recommendation for anybody, and it's really hard to find, but I think you can find them online, is it's a show, you guys might remember when you were kids, Muppets Tonight.
Oh
was
God,
out.
yes.
And that show is the funniest Muppet-based show there is. There's a Sandra Bullock episode, and that's worth watch the Sandra Bullock Muppets Tonight.
Yeah,
Great, funniest TV I've seen.
It's
So,
something
David,
from the '90s of Sandra Bullock,
Here's
isn't it?
some Muppet trivia for you.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first Muppet skit on their own show?
Oh, geez, Phenomenon? Was it Phenomenon?
Close. If this was Jeopardy, you would get it wrong because you said it wrong.
Oh, but it was Phenomenon?
Phenomena.
Phenomenon.
I'm just kidding. Give me a hard time.
Do-do-do-do.
Oh, because you know what it is? Phenomenon. Phenomenon is on the Sandra Bullock Muppets Tonight. Movie
You
Phenomenon.
need to. If you've never seen the Muppets do Bohemian Rhapsody,
Oh
no.
my God!
you
no,
need
I
to
haven't, but I need
look
to
it up
see
on
that.
YouTube.
That
It's
sounds
super
awesome.
funny.
Rainbow Connection is my #1 go-to karaoke song.
But
Rainbow-
wait. So we never discussed this as a MOBA,
As a
for
MOBA?
realsies. For realsies.
So for realsies,
Muppets-
they would have the
Muppets-
most awesome skins ever. Because you'd have Gonzo, the super Gonzo circus looking guy where they get shot out of the cannon,
Yes,
the
yes.
amazing Gonzo. You'd have him in his space suit, from Muppets in Space. You would-
Yes.
oh,
Oh my gosh, this is good. This is good. But what would the maps be is what I really want to know.
oh, it would be like their
theater.
studio, their theater. There'd be tons of it would be like their Hollywood
Oh, like
studio.
their nursery too.
The
So
nursery.
maybe Muppets
Muppets Baby. Muppets
Yeah,
Baby
maybe
isn't
Muppets.
canon.
Yeah,
but it
it isn't canon.
Muppet Babies is not canon. It's not Muppet canon.
But think about like the
Sesame
interactions
Street,
they would have when they
Sesame
show up. Like if like Miss Piggy and Kermit were on the opposite sides, and Piggy would be like, "My Kermit."
Yeah, I think
Now,
Miss
wouldn't it
Piggy's
be
a tank.
funny? Because, like, do you guys remember in the Heroes, oh my gosh, words are hard. The freaking panel that they did at BlizzCon. Holy crap, I give up. I'm out. I quit. No. So at BlizzCon, they did the deep dive panel for Heroes of the Storm, and they had mentioned that they were talking about, like, when you're playing characters from the same franchise, but you're on opposing teams like Uther and Arthas, if they would have, like, special interactions that they would speak to each other during a match. So, like, if you're playing Arthas and I'm playing Uther and we're on opposing teams, and, like, we are in the same area as each other, like Uther would be like, "Well met," you know, or to Arthas. Like, this would be things that would just happen. Like, they wouldn't do it unless this scenario happened.
Specific people
So,
like me.
yeah.
I like how they meet and I do this.
Yeah, I know. They make me. Could you
Uther,
imagine
Arthas.
in the Muppets MOBA if you are playing Kermit and on the opposing team someone is playing Miss Piggy, and what if they did like the slow mo like run to it, my Kermit? Like that would just be the funny, and then you can like fight each other because you're on opposite teams. But that would be the most hilarious thing ever, I swear.
See, when you mentioned that, the first thing I thought was Statler and Waldorf fighting each other, and then just both saying that, like, "Oh, this match is terrible."
No,
Yeah,
they're one hero. What are you talking about?
Statler and Waldorf.
Yeah, they're the hecklers, right?
Yeah, the hecklers.
Yeah, they'd be one hero. I'm pretty sure they're Siamese twins, and we just don't really know it.
Yeah, we don't really know. Well,
You never see them
Name?
detached.
Dr. Honeydew.
Dr. Honeydew. There's so many Muppets, like it's not even funny.
This
Gonzo, you know what
Yeah.
Gonzo would do? He would have his chicken, his hen, to like throw at people, and
He's a
she
witch
would
doctor.
harass. She'd be the witch doctor. Exploding hens.
Oh my god.
But he'd
This
feel
needs to
bad about
happen. Who owns the Muppets like as a franchise right
Disney.
now?
Disney owns
Disney?
everything.
For real? I'm gonna write Disney a letter. Please make this a MOBA. Like, and I will send them the audio sample from this conversation and just be like, here you go. Ideas
You know-
already. Make this happen.
So, real quick, because we're talking about Muppets, I just really thought about this. So my roommate, I lived with him for like 6 years, and he could do voices. He was pretty good, and he could do the Swedish Chef so awesomely. It was like the best Swedish Chef I'd ever heard. So I got him one day to rickroll our friends as the Swedish Chef, and oh man, and I was trying so hard to get him to record it so that way I could put it on YouTube. I'm like, that would be like a million hit YouTube. Like just a video of the Swedish Chef and him doing the rickrolling. You could rickroll your friends with the Swedish Chef. Who doesn't want to do that?
I still want Pepe the Prawn. I know he's like a newer Muppet, not well known, very cool.
Well, the newest Muppet is the one from the Jason Segel movie.
Oh, there's a new one. I haven't seen it yet, so.
Oh yeah, it's Walter.
Pepe's in Muppets in Space.
Yeah, I know Pepe. Yeah, but Walter, he's like he does this whole thing about it being a man or a Muppet. It's pretty funny. I'm gonna put a generational line in the sand between me and you guys. Elmo sucks. Oh yeah, he does.
Oh no, Grover. About the Grover days were
I'm
that's
not an
like
Elmo
Bon
kid.
Scott
I don't know what
versus
you're
Brian
talking
Jones
about.
in AC/DC.
I love Grover.
I grew up with
Grover's
Cookie
great.
Monster
I didn't-
loving cookies and not
Oh,
vegetables.
yeah.
He was the cookie.
You know what's really funny is
I like how now we're talking about Sesame Street.
I know, right?
the
next up, the Sesame Street MOBA.
Well, that would go in with the Muppets, right? But I mean,
Yeah.
like, the funniest thing is the Sesame Street DVDs from when I was a kid, they released them out on DVD, but they're rated, like, PG, like, not suitable for children. So that explains a lot about, like, you know, my developmental road.
Was it? I find it funny. You're like, all of a sudden, you're like, I'm gonna drop some physics on you. You're like, listen, kids.
I quoted-
Learning time.
I
Step
think
in,
I-
children.
it's so funny how ridiculous we can get, because it's at first I'm like, oh, nothing on this show, because I can't help it, but I'm always thinking like, I write down little notes for like episode titles for the show, and because I know I'll forget, I'm like, oh, nothing's gonna beat physics time with with Dave, and then all of a sudden we brought up a Muppet MOBA, and I'm like, we have a winner.
Don't name the episode that, because then people
Why
are gonna
not?
see it and they're gonna be like, "What the? No, I'm not listening."
I think I'm turning.
You're right. If I saw an episode of a show called The Muppet MOBA, I'm watching it.
The Muppet MOBA? Yeah, that's true. That's a sell.
All right, okay.
Oh man. Well, actually, you know what's funny? I don't have to work tomorrow.
I don't either.
I don't either, but I also am unemployed.
I have tomorrow off. I've actually, unfortunately, my wife has been sick, so my daughter's
Oh.
been with my mother-in-law. So I've had 3 nights of sleep.
Wow, like full-blown sleep.
I'm awake.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, I take that back. I am unemployed in the real
But you do a lot of
sense,
work.
But I work.
You have to
like,
deal
a
with us,
lot.
is all I have to
not
say.
that, but I from when I wake up until I go to sleep, I'm like constantly like, because I'm really good at multitasking. I'm a woman. What could I say? But I'm like, that was okay. I'm coming off like the wrong way.
Female
I apologize.
misogynist.
That's okay.
Miss Piggy.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to say that. But anyways, yeah, I'm like constantly, like I have my computer always open and I'm always like reading news, like gaming news or watching gaming streams. And like a lot of people are like, well, that's not work. But this is what I'm trying to turn into a career, if you will. So like that's work.
You're making your own job. It's
yeah,
harder.
I am making my own job. And it is a lot harder.
Because you don't get paid.
Yeah, we're making like I don't know if I can say this live, but we make like $1 a month in ad revenue. Woohoo! So if you ever visit blizzmaster.com, please whitelist us if you have like ad blocker, because
5-star reviews. 5-star reviews.
Oh,
yeah.
So it looks like there's more people in the chat room than from earlier. So
It's the Muppets.
it's the Muppets. They're bringing,
Muppets.
but I just want to let everyone in the chat room now know, because I mentioned it during the show, that next week we're going to be giving out that beta key for the DC Infinite Crisis.
Right.
So if you come in during the show, at some point, I'm going to ask a question. And the answer to the question may or may not be in this current episode, so you might want to make sure you listen to the whole thing. I may have snuck it in there, all sneaky-like.
Oh snap!
If I did, that would have been ingenious of me.
You should have made it a contest. Like, which Muppet would you play?
Oh man, that's a later on one. Like,
As
if there
later.
in fact was a Muppet MOBA, who would you play? Who would be a tank of all the Muppets?
Would be a
Miss
tank?
Piggy.
Miss Piggy.
Miss
What's
Piggy.
the big guy? What's the sweetness?
Oh.
What's his name?
Oh, what's his
Sweetums?
name?
Sweetums?
Sweetums. Sweetums would be a tank.
Who would be support? Like I have to know this. This is pertinent information.
Kermit.
Scooter.
You think so?
Oh, the
I think
nurses.
Kermit
Remember
would
the
be more
doctors?
like a.
No, the surgeons. Remember?
Oh
Don't
yeah,
they
yeah,
have
yeah,
surgeons?
yeah. Yeah. Okay, I would do that.
No, Scooter. He supports the show, kind of.
Sure.
So he could. Poor guy.
What's a
Yeah.
What is a backwards MOBA?
Beaker.
An A-bomb? Oh, see? I knew they were gonna say that. It's A-bomb. I see what you
Beaker
did
the
there.
tank.
He could
Man.
be a good
Oh
tank.
my God, Animal would definitely be an assassin.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, I agree. Oh, I wish I could just name these Muppets off the top of my head. You guys totally
get, like,
watch Muppets.
in there?
Mr. Sweets and the band, they all would have their own stuff too. That'd be
Oh,
interesting.
Dr. Teeth? Yeah,
Oh, Dr. Teeth. Why am I calling him
Yeah,
Mr. Sweets?
I have
Yeah,
to know,
I don't
how
know.
on earth do you guys still know these Muppets? Like, I am appalled right now. Are you guys grown men still watching Muppets? Like, I
Fozzie
have
Bear,
to know
Waka Waka.
Oh, yeah, Fozzie.
My favorite
Uh,
is Ralph. He's my favorite Muppet. I'm gonna
oh,
throw that out
Ralph.
there.
Yeah,
Ralph.
Ralph, the dog.
Ralph. I love him.
Rolf. Yeah, Rolf.
Rolf.
I have to bring
Yeah.
up like a list. I
She's
can't
bring up a
keep
list
this conversation.
as we're giving. She's like gonna mark them off and be like, "Oh, you guys are missing 2 of them."
You could
Okay.
get the Grover. You could get the Super Grover skin.
Yeah. But I don't know if I want to mix my Sesame Street in with my MOBA, because then you're going to start getting, like, preschoolers whooping our bum in MOBAs. It's like, I'm going to...
Henrietta?
What? Henrietta, that's the
Sam the Eagle. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the eagle. There's so many of them. That's crazy thing is because there's so many background ones that they could just, like, bring in. You know,
Ralph the dog.
Now I want to look this up now.
Sourbird? I don't even know some of these Muppets. King Plubis?
well, some of them were just, like, one skit from the show, you know?
Wiz? Afghan? We should do a skit. We need to do a skit of Muppets MOBA. Like, this needs to happen.
Man, we need to, you know what we need? We need to go get Coltrane, get Pat Crane, and be like, dude, we need this for our show. We're going to all do Muppets.
We do like an intro.
It'll be like our own, like, little skit, the Muppet MOBA.
Billy
Just
the
needs to be
Bear?
done. We need to get Gray Malkin in on it.
Bruno?
Oh my god.
The Pigs in Space guys.
Camilla the Chicken? Dog Lion?
Dog Lion.
Dr.
We're going to get
T?
everybody.
Droop? Eric the Parrot? I'm just reading off this list, guys.
So the rat.
No, seriously.
Foo-foo?
And then we even have background music for it.
Miss Piggy's dog is named Foo-Foo.
Dude, does Fraggle Rock play into this at all?
They are
Fleet
Muppets,
Scribbler?
technically.
Oh my god!
They're all
This
Jim
one
Henson.
would be
Jim
a sport
Henson MOBA?
character. Fleet Scribbler. Gaffer the Cat. George the Janitor.
George the Janitor. I'm going Johnny Fiamma. Oh, Johnny Fiamma was awesome. So you guys didn't see Muppets Tonight that much. Johnny
No.
Fiamma was the best. He was like the Frank Sinatra guy.
Oh my gosh, there's a group of Muppets called Jerry and the Atrix. Like
Yep.
geriatrics. They're like old lady Muppets that sing. I don't know. Anyway.
Man, that you know, I could see that being, you know, really, in honesty, this could be done as like just a cheap, funny, fun MOBA rather than a serious, like, balanced MOBA.
It takes off on its own thing.
Yeah,
Comes
we need
some
some flash game designers out there.
Lips. Link Hogthrob. I just don't know some of these Muppets. Mean
'cause
Mama?
you've
Mickey
just really
Mouse
watched the
was a
movies.
Muppet?
So, David, you weren't there for my big realization of Rem is that she doesn't know what Firefly is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what? To be fair, I've watched one episode of Firefly. Although I did meet half the cast at the
TV
Fan
show.
Expo in Toronto.
Mm-hmm. Oh
Yeah,
man, that's
TV show? That's what it is?
It
the
stars
best
Summer Glau.
sci-fi
Summer Glau.
television show of all time.
So, okay, so what you're telling me is that the MMO that's coming out, Wildstar, is based off of Firefly?
No, it's not based off of it. I find that it's, to me, from what I've seen, it's almost like if you take Firefly, which is like a space western, kind of really gritty western, and you mix it with World of Warcraft art style and like kind of Final Fantasy-ish character. Like it's like a mesh. And
You know, like at the beginning of Wings
if you
of
kind of
Liberty-
grab everything and it's all together. No.
It's
No,
like
but-
if you, at the beginning of Wings of Liberty, when they're in that country bar, it's got that feel.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So kind of like
You know-
I don't want to, like, for lack of a better way to describe it, but kind of like how post-apocalyptic, like,
Yeah.
settings usually are.
It's like that, but you have the...
Spacey, but it's like Western still.
Yeah, but because there's the core central planets that are like super advanced and like civilized, and then these people are from on the outskirts,
Oh, okay.
and it's from basically a war, and you know
Wait,
Nathan
this is the
Fillion
TV show or the MMO you're describing?
the TV
Sorry.
show,
Oh, okay. Okay.
Don't tell too
And-
much. I'm going to be watching it.
right? But you know Nathan Fillion, right? Castle. You don't know Nathan Fillion?
Okay, here I'm gonna tell you.
You
guys
know
a
Alan
secret.
Tudyk? Do you know Alan Tudyk?
No, look.
Do you know
look,
Adam
let me-
Baldwin?
No, let
Did
me
you
tell
watch-
you
watch
something.
Sarah Connor Chronicles? Sarah Connor
No,
Chronicles?
no. This
Have
is
you
the
seen
thing.
Chuck?
No. So you guys won't let me make. I've made this confession on
Hold on.
Press Y
I'll be back
before.
one second. You can talk.
Oh, okay.
okay.
I don't watch much television, nor do I watch many movies. So when people are like, "Oh, this actor and that act," like I have no, because I am not that well. Like I
Yeah.
I just don't watch television very much, and I don't watch movies like hardly ever. So like, you can name a movie right now that has released in the last like 10 years. I probably haven't seen it.
So what we've established then is the only TV you watch is the Muppets.
No, no. I mean, like, I watch South Park on
Awesome.
occasion. I watch Family Guy, American Dad here and there. I watch a lot of How I Met Your Mother. That's like probably
I
like
love.
one of my
There you
favorite
go.
shows
I,
ever.
fine.
Um,
Okay, good. You're back on
yeah.
the show. I
And
love How I Met Your Mother.
then like I watch a lot of anime, like a lot of anime. I'm trying to think, but like I'm drawing blanks now. I don't watch much television, like at
Do you have
all.
Netflix?
I do. And
Firefly's
see,
on Netflix.
this is the thing though, because when I'm at home, because I'm working so much, my
You don't miss
son watches a lot of Netflix. So like my recent history is always things like Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then Sesame Street for my younger son. So I like know all about Sesame Street and Blue's Clues, and yeah. So like that's like the extent of my TV knowledge is children's shows.
Get
So
him to watch Doctor
I
Who's good.
tried to watch
Oh.
Doctor Who. I watched the first episode and I
You
just
got to
thought
go
it
past the first episode.
was weird,
You got to
so-
go. Past
So for I think it's DJ Billy. He comes to that random Geekcast on Mondays normally, and we didn't have an episode this week. And the Doctor Who episode's way behind because I've been so busy. It's coming out tomorrow, but we do have a little bit of news on that random Geekcast because we're going to change the format around a bit. What we're going to be doing is the first episode of every month is going to go as we have it now, where you have like the main topic and then news. But it's going to be news from like more or less the last month. The rest of the month, it's going to be more of a kind of a video cast because we're going to play games and talk geek news and stuff as we're playing.
Oh, I like that. That's awesome.
Because we were talking about it, and one, it didn't feel random. You know, it felt like, oh, this is how we're going to have the episode, and we want it to be more fun. You know, and when do nerds really get into like geek talk? Like right now, you know, having a list of things for us to talk about. We've been talking about the Muppets and stuff for like half an hour, and this is more of what I was hoping
Longer than the show.
for the show. So while we're playing games and streaming some games, we're gonna talk about news that we've seen without it being very set in stone. It'll be more of a fun cast because that's what I was looking at it for the beginning, and it seems so like set in stone, like half hour of talk about a topic, and then then news and
That sounds
some.
awesome, though.
Yeah, so we're gonna keep that as like once a month. We're gonna be a little bit like, hey, get the information out there, and then the rest will be like that. I'm attempting to figure out how we can play some board games live over the stream with only me hosting it. But
Remove all of the players' pawns for them.
yeah, like I'll be hosting. I'll be like a host, and I'll be like, and then we kind of talk and play. But that's gonna come later, and we're gonna practice see if we can do that.
I mean,
So-
like the alternative to that are board games that are, they have
Online.
a board game version, but they have an online, like Monopoly. You can play Monopoly online
Yeah,
with people.
But that's the thing is, a lot of those are the long take, like the classic games. Like
know,
I'd like to
right? Yeah,
play
yeah.
some of the other ones, and I think part of it would be preparation on my part to make sure that people have the information they need quickly, and so I wouldn't be able to play it. I'd be literally hosting it,
Yeah.
you know. So, but yeah, that's why we didn't have an episode this past week because originally we were going to talk anime, but then we kind of we were going to have you on if we ended up doing, but we didn't end up doing it because it was like two
love it.
out of 5 hosts knew about anime, like, so we need to bring people on
Yeah,
like that.
me if you ever need me.
Yeah, well, that's what we were going to do is bring you. But that's the thing. It's like if we having it once a month where we kind of do that big topic lets us kind of grab people in and have that one where if we have set like more of a round table discussion once a month, it can be that bigger group and less editing. Like I was editing that thing a lot. It was taking a lot of time to edit it just because it was a lot of people's first podcast and there was a lot of just stuff that didn't come out clean as a podcast that I think will come out a lot better as a round table discussion or slash, as we're gaming, having fun. So it's funny. We're getting more listeners for the after show.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
And I was
Hello,
just
new
about
people.
to say, like, I can only stay for probably another 10 minutes or so. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
No, I'm
Yeah, I actually, to be honest, I gotta run at least for a bit, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna
If
take
that's
off
okay.
too. Oh, I'm gonna
Oh,
because
see, I
I'm
killed
gonna.
it.
No, I was about to get
You
going.
did, Dragon User. Missed the show, but you can, I mean, it'll be in the Twitch archives, and then you can also catch it on iTunes and Stitcher, and it was a pretty funny show, so
Yeah.
Prepare
might-
yourself. You should watch some Muppet show. That's all we're
Yes.
saying.
yes, a Muppets MOBA may be coming your ways.
Is Dragon User? Is that Xantar?
No, it is, it's somebody from Blizzmaster. You guys all use different names, and
I forget
it
who Dragon User is. Dragon User, you have to tell us who you are. Stat.
It
Before we sign out.
is
Reveal yourself.
LeBlue? Is it LeBlue? I could be totally wrong here though, but I think it's LeBlue. I think.
You can't hide from us. We will find you.
I think. Stream delay. I don't know.
I don't think our delay's that long. Maybe.
Maybe he didn't hear us, so.
That's okay.
But I know it's somebody from Blizzmaster. It's hard to keep up with all of your, like, because some of you go by your real name, but then you have your game name, and then you have the names that you use on Twitter or Twitch or YouTube, which are totally different. So it's hard to keep up with. Like, for example, David. David goes by
Yo, Blue, you
David.
were right.
Oh, yeah, I was right.
You were right.
But then, like, in game, he's known as Berlan, and then that's his Twitter handle also. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I like how everyone pronounces my character right except me.
Oh. Am I saying it wrong? Correct me if
No,
I
you're
am.
saying it right. I never say it. That's the thing.
But
so
if
it's
you
like
you dictate the way your character's name
I know.
is.
I like Berlan. I just always.
He's
call
like,
it
I like
Berlan.
how everybody else says it
Okay.
I
above
like how
what I
everybody
said.
else says it. I just I don't say it. By the way, best MOBA. I just realized that best MOBA character to play, the Count.
The count.
Oh,
It's
yes.
like one
One.
dead minion, two dead minions.
Oh yeah, the blue Twitch won't let you change your username anymore, so make a new account is pretty
And
much the only
if you listen to the
answer.
podcast, definitely listen to the after show of the Twitch stream because we talk all about the Muppet MOB.
Yeah.
MOBA
Muppet
that
MMO
we're gonna make.
now.
It's gonna be an MMO. No,
Muppet MMO.
No.
it only works as a
It
MOBA.
works as a MOBA? Yeah, exactly.
I like how now Rem is in agreement that it works as a MOBA now. She was a disbeliever,
At first I was like,
and
no,
now she's a
stop.
believer.
Stop it! Don't do that. Yeah, no, and a Muppet, because it wouldn't work as an MMO because they don't have like classes. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
And,
It
like-
just doesn't work.
and like if you're in the pro season of the Muppet MOBA, you can't stream your like Dora the Explorer and stuff like that.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure is off limits.
That's
Like,
right.
for
You
real.
can't do it. That's it. Disney
I'm gonna
comes
die.
down on your ass.
But you are allowed to stream Diego's Great Adventure. We'll allow that. Like, we're okay with that.
I think we just broke Twitch, guys.
Oh no, we didn't.
I'm just kidding. Okay, well, we're going to bring this down because I know David's got to get going, and I need to get some editing done. Like I said, if you guys have questions, you guys can just make up questions to ask us. We really need them because that's supposed to be a good 10, 15 minutes of our show, and we're out of them. And you can ask about MOBAs anything you want. So
Yeah, ask
We'll
us.
talk to you guys
'cause we
later.
all have varying experience too. So, but yes, goodbye everybody. Thank you for watching. We love you all, and tell a friend about the show.
Night, everybody. Toads, toads.